There's a house in Rhode Island where a family of 7 swore something followed them from room to room. Not a sound, not a shadow, something that pulled the covers off their kids at night. And here's the part that keeps people up. They were the ones who wanted to leave. The thing in the house didn't. Welcome back to Untold 10. Today, we're counting down the 10 most haunted places in America. Real buildings you can actually walk into. Real stories people still can't explain. Stay till the end, because number 1 is the one they made a movie about, and the family who lived it says the movie went easy. If you love this stuff, hit subscribe. Let's get into it.
Number 10. The St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida. It looks like a postcard. Black and white spiral, blue sky, tourists climbing the 219 steps for the view. But climb it after dark and people tell a different story. Back when they were building this lighthouse in the 1800s, the man in charge brought his family to live on site. His 2 young daughters used to play on a little rail cart that ran to the water. One day, the cart went in. Both girls drowned. Visitors today say they still hear children laughing on the stairs. Some swear they've seen 2 little girls playing hide-and-seek near the top, then vanishing when you get close.
Number 9. The Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana. People call this one of the most haunted homes in the entire South, and it's got the body count of a place that's seen 200 years of tragedy. The legend everyone knows is Chloe, a woman said to still walk the grounds in a green turban. But the strangest thing here isn't a story, it's a photograph. In the 1990s, the owners took a routine picture of the property. When it developed, there was a figure standing between 2 buildings, a person who wasn't there when they took the shot. That photo is still around today, and nobody has a clean explanation for who's in it. Number 8. The Lizzie Borden house in Massachusetts. You probably know the rhyme. In 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found in this house, and the case became one of the most famous mysteries in American history. Lizzie, the daughter, was put on trial and found not guilty, so the question of what really happened here never got answered. Today, the house is a bed and breakfast. You can book the actual rooms and sleep there overnight. Guests report footsteps on the stairs, doors that won't stay shut, and a woman's voice in empty rooms. People pay good money to be scared out of their sleep, and they line up to do it. Number 7. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia. This is the 2nd largest hand-cut stone building in the world. Only the Kremlin is bigger. It was built to hold 250 patients. At its worst, it held over 2,000. You can imagine how that went. The place shut down decades ago, but the tours never really stop. People walking those long, empty halls report the same things again and again. Cold spots that move, footsteps behind them, voices coming from wards that have been empty for 50 years. One area, the old surgical wing, is the spot even the guides get quiet about. Number 6. The RMS Queen Mary in California. Most haunted places are old houses. This one's a warship turned ocean liner turned floating hotel. During World War II, she carried hundreds of thousands of soldiers across the ocean. Over her years at sea, dozens of people died aboard. One of them, a young crewman, was crushed by a watertight door in the engine room. Guests near that spot still say they hear him knocking, whistling, asking for a wrench. In the old first-class rooms, people wake up to the covers being pulled off, lights turning on by themselves, and water running in the middle of the night with nobody at the tap. Number 5. The Ohio State Reformatory. If this place looks familiar, that's because you've seen it. This is where they filmed The Shawshank Redemption. But long before the cameras showed up, this was a working prison, and a brutal one. It closed in 1990. The building never emptied out. Visitors on the ghost tours hear cell doors slamming in blocks that are locked and empty. They hear shrieks with no source. And in the solitary confinement wing, the worst part of the whole place, people report shadow figures and the feeling of a guard who's still walking his patrol decades after he died on the job. Number 4. The Crescent Hotel in Arkansas. They call it America's most haunted hotel, and it earned that name the hard way. It opened in the 1880s as a luxury resort, beautiful place. But in the 1930s, a man named Norman Baker bought it and turned it into a fake hospital, promising cures for diseases he couldn't cure. A lot of people checked in hoping to be saved. A lot of them never checked out. Guests today report a man in old-fashioned clothes standing in the halls, a nurse pushing a gurney across the floor at night, and knocking from within the walls. In 2019, workers even found jars of human remains buried on the property. Number 3. Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, there's a building that looks like a stone fortress dropped in the middle of the city. This was once the most famous prison in the world. Al Capone did time here, and Capone, a man who was scared of nothing, reportedly begged for mercy in his cell at night, screaming at a ghost he said was following him. The prison closed in 1971. Since then, visitors have reported shadowy figures pacing the cell blocks, whispers and giggling with no source, and the feeling of cold hands touching them. You turn around and there's no one there. Number 2. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado. A writer checked into this grand old hotel one night, back when it was nearly empty for the season. He stayed in room 217. What he experienced there rattled him so badly, it became the seed for one of the most famous horror stories ever written. That writer was Stephen King. That story became The Shining. But the hotel was haunted long before he ever showed up. Guests report hearing a party in the ballroom with nobody in it, piano music playing on its own, and children laughing in the halls at night. The original owners, long dead, are still seen at the bar and the top of the grand staircase like they never left. And finally, number 1. The Conjuring house in Rhode Island. In the early 1970s, the Perron family moved into an old farmhouse in Harrisville, hoping for a fresh start in the country. What happened next became one of the most famous hauntings in American history. The family described a presence in the home that grew angrier by the day. Cold spots, objects moving, something they said targeted the mother. It got so bad, they brought in paranormal investigators to help. Decades later, that story became the movie The Conjuring. But here's the thing that gives everyone chills. The family who actually lived there has said the same thing in interview after interview. The movie was the toned-down version. Whatever was in that house, they say, was worse than anything Hollywood put on screen. And the house is still standing today. So there you have it. 10 real places, 10 stories nobody can fully explain. Now I want to hear from you. Are you Team Skeptic? There's a logical reason for every one of these. Or Team Believer? Some places just hold on to something. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've got a haunted spot near you, tell me. It might end up in a future video. If you made it this far, subscribe, because we've got more Untold 10s coming. I'll see you in the next one.